So good evening and welcome you all to the webinar on why automation anywhere should be your tool of choice for robotics process automation. Okay, so let's get started with the webinar today. My name is Anshu Pandey and I'm going to be the instructor for this particular webinar. And this webinar is brought to you from Cognixia. So let's go ahead and begin with it. Cognixia is one of the most popular and esteemed organization when it comes to training and development in the country and abroad. And Cognixia has won multiple set of awards in the field of providing solutions related to training and development. We have market presence in more than 37 countries, and Cognixia has trained more than 100,000 professionals worldwide. We provide trainings on all the emerging technologies, which includes Internet of Things, data science, machine learning, robotics process automation. And Cognixia has a pool of more than 4,500 trainers across the globe, coming from different technologies and different experience level. Including all the MNCs, there are more than 450 clients that Cognixia has across the globe. It's a company, one of the arm of an IT solution providing company called Collabra. In recent years, Cognixia has won many such awards for the best-in-class service provider for training and development, which includes the award from multiple magazines and research organizations. And it has also emerged as top 5 training providers when it comes to IoT, big data analytics, and data science. Out of all the MNC clients that Cognixia has, these are some of the training partners of Cognixia. So Cognixia is authorized official training partner for Red Hat, VMware, Automation Anywhere, Pivotal, Dell, ITIL, Mapar, and Microsoft as well. So let's begin up with the webinar, and the topic for the day is Automation Anywhere and why it should be the choice when it comes to choosing a tool for robotics process automation. In this webinar, we'll discuss more about what exactly RPA is and where it begins from, what are the typical applications of RPA. We'll be also comparing multiple tools which are popular for implementing RPA solutions and where Automation Anywhere stands, how is it different, and some sort of understanding of the architecture of Automation Anywhere. So let's begin. So we're talking about a term called robotics process automation. When we talk about robotics and automation, these terms come from the domain of manufacturing. The idea of automation is more about connecting multiple services and reducing human involvement when it comes to switching between multiple operations. Robotics is all about making a machine do the job of a human, which is very difficult for a human to do. For example, in manufacturing organizations, when it comes to dealing with such scenarios where there is a very huge temperature where it is not possible for humans to survive, or if the demand of a particular process is much higher in terms of speed, let's say a particular manufacturing company has to manufacture around 1,000 cars a day, and if they keep humans to do almost every step, they are not going to be able to reach their target. So that's where the moment where they want to have good accuracy and speed in the production, that's where robots have been used in such scenarios. For example, this image shows us the use of robots for the manufacturing of cars. So robots are doing job like painting, assembling, pick and place, you can say screwing up, and multiple assembling lines are there. So robotics is all about making a machine do a job, a specific job. Every robot is designed or programmed for performing a specific job. Maybe one robot is programmed to do welding, another robot here may be programmed to do painting, another could be assembling, screwing up, things like that. Automation is about when it comes to switching between these. Let's say that painting should only be done once the assembling is completely done. So first robot, which is, or let's say a set of robots which are doing assembling, needs to pass a signal that, well, for this particular car, assembling is done, and now it's the time for painting it. So when it comes to switching between multiple processes, and instead of a human letting a human do the job of switching between multiple processes, if we automate that by some means, we call it automation, right? For example, when we put hand under the tap, the water comes automatically because of a sensor attached to that. That's automation. Earlier, we had to manually open the tap and get the water in. Now it's like they are IR sensors, and you put your hand under the tap, and the water comes automatically. That's automation, right? When we go to the apartments, and the sensor senses the particular QR code and authenticates the car and opens the particular gate automatically. That's also automation. Automation is about automating the job of switching between operations. So robotics and automation have been heavily used in industry when it comes to manufacturing, and that has reduced a lot of human cost in terms of operation cost. That has led to very fast production, errorless production. There is minimum error in the production and manufacturing of multiple equipment. And this has led the enterprises, the industries, organizations to achieve good market revenue and maximize their profit. And from this particular segment, now it has also entered into the business process management as well, where we do not deal with a lot of hardware stuff, but yeah, we deal with a lot of operations job, right? And that's where robotics process automation comes into picture. So when we talk about RPA, we kind of do not say that RPA is about creating a hardware robot. It is about creating similar software robot. So the way we can see in this picture, there are multiple hardware robots which are doing some set of tasks. Robotics process automation is all about creating similar software robots which can do some tasks which are doable by software robot. Let's say that if I am working in a bank, and my job is to look at all the customers who have applied for opening bank account and validate the data based on some rules, and the approved data I need to feed it to ERP. This is my job in a bank. Now every day I do the same thing. I open a CSV or Excel file, look at the data points, validate each and every customer based on some rules. Let's say age should not be less than 18, or maybe salary should not be less than XYZ value, or maybe the location should not be outer than this, right? Based on some validated pointers, I need to validate that, well, this customer is eligible for opening an account, and feed that data into ERP. Every day I do the same job. If I can make a software robot which can open Excel file, look at every customer data, validate the data points, and then approve data points that can feed it to ERP, that's software robot, which is what we do in the field of robotics process automation. Okay, so let's talk more about that. In case you have questions, we're going to be discussing that a lot at the end, right? So please keep all of your questions for the QA session, which we're going to have at the end of this webinar. So robotics is process automation in a similar manner is all about mimicking human actions. The way we humans perform actions of doing some software related task, like every day my job is to open the stock exchange website and analyze the stock prices, put that into CSV or Excel sheet and drop an email. So these kind of jobs which are very monotonous, which are very repetitive, and I don't need to use much of human logic to do that job, can be also done by a software robot, right? So that's the idea of RPA. RPA is all about creating such software robots, right? Let's talk more about that. All right. For example, I can create a software robot which can maybe every day read my email, and if there is an email I receive which is about invoicing, it can get the data, fetch the data from that email and attachment, and feed that into a ERP called Tally, right? Or maybe let's say that there's an organization called Cognixia which receives maybe thousands of payments every day, and for those thousands of payments, manually process those payments, and there are some human executives who kind of analyze each and every payment and approve that. Now, instead of you keeping the human executives, what we can do with RPA is we can create some robots which can read each and every email and validate the payment, feed data into ERP, prepare a report, and drop email to the business head every day. So that sort of idea is about which is what we do in the field of robotics process automation. So in general, you can say that it's more of a form of emerging clerical process where, or you can start creating clerks which are not humans, just the software, or creating software robots which do the job of clerks. In some cases, these software robots also use artificial intelligence as well. Not in all the cases. So there was a question that, well, is it automation is related to artificial intelligence? In some cases, automation uses artificial intelligence. In some cases, it doesn't. For example, let's say my job is to simply check the age of all those customers who have applied for opening a bank account. I need to simply check whether their age is less than 18 or not. If their age is more than 18, less than 100, I will approve it. Now for checking this out in Excel sheet, I don't need AI. It's very simple and easy to process that kind of data. So in a number of cases, to automate a particular process, you don't need AI. Only in some niche cases, it is difficult, and that's where we might need AI. Let's say if customer is connecting to the bank via Twitter or maybe via a handwritten note or an application which is forwarded to the bank. In those such scenarios, we might need to use optical character recognition or some AI tool to recognize each and every entity and where is name, where is age, and identify that and feed it into Excel sheet. So in such cases where data is very highly unstructured and it's very difficult to interpret for a machine, that's where we might need AI to help to achieve automation. So yes, AI would be part of RPA, but not always, only in some cases. The other way you can say that today the whole world talks about AI, but the way AI can be leveraged by the business, one of the the most matured way how businesses have started leveraging the power of artificial intelligence is robotics process automation. Robotics process automation is more of a business related field where it is easy to deploy and bring inside the business. Artificial intelligence is a more of a hoax or hype, but yeah, the way it's very difficult for businesses to identify that how can they use this in their real implementation and use cases. RPA is a way to achieve that. So that also makes RPA one of the very popular field or of technology, where the implementation comes into picture more than research. So when it comes to a software robot, you can think of software robot which can simply replicate an action. For example, every day I read my email by going to Chrome browser and open gmail.com. The same thing for software robot is doing. It's a robot. If the same thing, if I make a robot do that, that's what we call as RPA. So what are the benefits of robotics process automation? Why an organization would want to implement RPA use case in their real scenarios, or you can say in their business process, right? So in a number of scenarios, when you talk about a lot of business fields like banking, finance, supply chain management, healthcare, education, travel and hospitality, in many of these business lines, there is a lot of manual intervention of humans in operating the tools, software, feeding data, collecting data, and aggregating data, validating data using some manual rules. Many of these jobs are repetitive, monotonous, and boring jobs in the sense like, there's nothing new that one has to do. And it's every day same set of rules to be followed out, and based on those rules, particular data or a particular scenario has to be validated. In such all scenarios, there is the human employees are not able to do some creative stuff, and that's where when there's a huge demand of human employees who in terms of scale, that demand could be met with the help of RPA, by creating the robots which can do the job of humans. Now when it comes to that, we don't mean that everything that a human does can be done by a robot. Things like sales and marketing cannot be done by a RPA based bot, but a number of clerical jobs which is very heavily done in the operations part of any organization is now being automated heavily with RPA. So RPA can simply mimic the human behavior with no change in existing infrastructure. The best part of RPA is that, well, implementing robotics process automation, the organization need not to change the backend infrastructure, or because the RPA boards do not interact with the software from its backend. Rather, it interacts with the software from its front end. For example, the moment I use Microsoft Excel, I don't go and look at the code which was used to create Microsoft Excel, or the software, the programs, the people who prepare at Microsoft, whatever the program they use, the code they use to write Microsoft Excel, I don't see that. I just need to open Microsoft Excel from the start menu and feed some data or look at some data and save it and send it as an email. All those interactions that we humans make with these tools is by means of user interface. The same way, RPA-based bots or the software robots also interact with these all applications from the front end. So when it comes to adapting RPA for any organization, they didn't need to make any changes in their existing infrastructure. So it integrates with underlying software from the front end part, from the UI interface. And the solutions, the bots do the job much faster and very much less, with very less error compared to the human executive. And the implementation cost of RPA is very less, which reduces the size of workforce and the error produced drastically. This whole makes the any organization to increase their business efficiency and increase the business profit, minimize the losses in operation or cost of operations with huge scale. The underlying software is that the internal software. For example, let's say Microsoft Office, it was written in Visual Basics, for example, or a particular tool. Let's say that if I use a software which was written in Java, so RPA doesn't integrate with that software via the Java code, right? So it doesn't integrate with a tool or a particular software via the underlying software or the programming language which was used to prepare it or create it. Right, so I hope that answers the question of what is underlying software. Okay, so in general, you can say that RPA is more of a digital workforce. They are digital employees. And you can say that preparing RPA bot, deploying it takes the robot out of human. So being a human, if I'm doing kind of monotonous job, I don't need to do that from tomorrow because there is a bot which is doing that and I can do more creative jobs, which is what the humans are good at doing that, right? So RPA is more about building digital workforce. We can make hundreds of robots work in parallel and do the job much efficiently compared to the human workforce. And that's where we can use human workforce to improve the business efficiency. A couple of use cases where people have used RPA. For example, Mckinsey have used RPA technologies, and they say that 45% of the activities individuals are paid to perform, according to them, can be easily automated by adopting currently demonstrated technologies, which is robotics process automation. Okay. Similarly, Deloitte says that an RPA software robot is capable of performing a list of more than 600 actions in a given sequence, and which is most of, you can say, more than the 50% of clerical jobs performed today in the business domain, like banking, finance, supply chain management, healthcare, and also hospitality. So RPA is this all market particular projection shows that RPA is expected to see a compound annual growth of more than 60% worldwide through 2020, and it's actually already seeing that a number of enterprises have huge demand of RPA professionals who can help them build the boats, manage the boats, maintain the boats, also schedule the different set of boats according to the demand, according to the job, and also optimize the boats as well. So there's a huge demand of such professionals across the country, in India and outside India as well. A couple of use cases where RPA is widely used. It's one of the very huge domain, I would say, is finance and accounting, banking, where robotics process automation is widely used for sales order processing, right? If I get a lot of orders every day, I can easily process them, or you can say easily reply them by creating multiple bots. Let's say if I get 10,000 or maybe 1,000 orders a day, I may not want to keep 500 human employees who's gonna simply accept the order and automatically dispatch the particular, you can say, items, right? Better than that, I can make a couple of bots, accept the order, aggregate data, and I can keep some of the employees which can do the job of dispatching the particular items or products. Processing invoices. Invoice processing is a very a big domain where majority of the invoice processing jobs are now getting automated heavily with RPA boards, account payable, account receivable, ledger accounting, expense management, incentives, and claims. These are multiple scenarios where RPA is widely being used. The domain of insurance, where they use huge operational cost involved, is now getting heavily automated with the help of robotics process automation. The other domains where RPA is widely being used is supply chain, where last mile delivery management, end-to-end delivery management, F&A automation, inventory management, managing the analyzing the data of competitors by looking at their website, analyzing their sales if that data is available, customer service, BOM, back office management, and all. In procurement to pay, order to cash, things like supplier data management, vendor on demand board, vendor onboarding, processing vendor registration, employee registration, employee request, processing. These are multiple scenarios where RPA is widely now being used. Similarly, in IT service management, where alert monitoring, help desk monitoring, IT risk management, health monitoring of servers, storage management, in travel and hospitality for fare distribution, passenger revenue, accounting, uh, ticketing, fare ordering, in banking finance again for anti-money laundering, account servicing, reconciliation, loan origination, performance monitoring. These are multiple scenarios where uh, robotics process automation is heavily being used, and this is one of the domain where majority of the IT companies are now receiving a lot of IT projects, and that has increased the huge demand of RPA professionals. So, what is the overall? This was more about till here. It was more about understanding the idea of robotics process automation. Now, we're going to sort of look at the idea of how do we implement this, right? So, what are the popular tools and techniques to implement this? And if you have a question that, well, how can I shift to robotics process automation from a specific job role? So, you're going to get your answer in now next couple of slides, right? So how does the complete ecosystem of robotics process automation works out? And what RPA is usually, what RPA can do that we already seen. These are the popular applications, right? And so what are the different tools and why Automation Anywhere is one of the most popular, and you can say one of the prominent tool to do the job we're going to see now. So if we talk about the overall ecosystem of robotics process automation, these are all the components of that ecosystem, right? And we can see the options are, the first component or the most important component is technology providers. The organizations or companies which provide the technological solution to implement RPA. Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism, UiPath, OpenSpan, and WorkFusion. These are all different tools or platforms using which you can develop RPA solutions. The best part of these all tools are that these all tools doesn't require you to be good at programming. All of these tools which are used to develop RPA solutions are more of user interface based tool, UI based tool. That means you need to simply do drag and drop kind of a thing, to develop robots and deploy them, manage them. So you don't need to infer or interfere with programming anyways with these multiple tools. In very rare cases, you may need to do that. So out of them, Automation Anywhere is one of the very prominent and leader in the technology providers. All of these tools are licensed, and in order to use them, you need to buy, your organization need to buy enterprise license to use them. There are different licensing models to use these tools. So based on the client requirement, the service provider can pick one of the tool and develop the solution. To use these tools and understand that where RPA can be used, there are some consulting firms, which includes, let's say, Ernst & Young, Deloitte, KPMG, PwC. These organizations help the organizations from banking, finance, supply chain management, healthcare, hospitality, and travel to identify the opportunities where they can implement RPA solutions. So consulting firms provides that particular solution where you can implement RPA. In case you have questions, please keep that. We will discuss all the questions at the end when we will have QA session, right? Because taking questions in between might break the flow of understanding. So yeah, you can have as many questions. We'll give a good time to all the questions and understand that. If required, we'll come back to slides and discuss again. Okay. Service providers. Then there are some service providers which include Accenture, Capgemini, Cognizant, Genpact. These are all those companies which use the technological tools, right? So these all companies are the one, which kind of use these all organizations are the one which use these tools. Automation Anywhere or Blue Prism or UiPath or OpenSpan or WorkFusion. They all use these tools, to develop some solutions. Maybe develop a bot which can do the job of account opening, or maybe anti-money laundering. Develop multiple bots to do that. Then, in order to do staffing and in order to sort of help these organizations to get those people who can who know these tools very well, their last part of the ecosystem is the training and staffing companies, where Cognixia comes into picture. So Cognixia, Provoyo, Unstaining, these are different organizations which do staffing and training on these tools. So these organizations train individual to get certified on multiple of these tools, and once they become certified developer of these tools, they can easily be absorbed by these service providers to develop the solutions on RPA. All right, so let's go further. A couple of RPA products, which are the leaders in the market include Automation Anywhere, right, which is the leader in the market. Automation Anywhere is the tool which has the biggest market presence and breadth of use cases. That means the variety of use cases they have are huge, and across the world, the biggest market presence is there with Automation Anywhere. The second most popular tool is Prism, which is from United Kingdom, UK, and uh, one of the drawback of this that it doesn't include a boat called front-end boat. So there are two types of boats: back-end boat or back office robot and front office robot. Back office robot are those BOR are those which are used to automate such tasks where there is no human involvement needed at all. And front office robots are the one which are used to automate those tasks where there may be some human involvement required. So Automation Anywhere supports both FOR, front office robot, and BOR as well, back office robot as well. Whereas front office bot is not support, FOR is not supported by Prism. It only supports BOR. Both of these are licensed one. Again, all of these are licensed one. In fact, I would say the third leader in the market is UiPath. UiPath supports again both FOR and BOR. But the point where UiPath lags compared to the above two is the simplicity of the tool, how it can be used or learned by the professionals. So UiPath is very difficult for professionals to learn easily and get excel into that, whereas compared to that, the development with Automation Anywhere is very easy. So Automation Anywhere is a lot focused on the developer point of view as well. So it makes things quite easy for the developer to implement RPA solutions with Automation Anywhere compared to UiPath. The other leaders in the market include OpenSpan and WorkFusion. WorkFusion is Java-based, and OpenSpan is contributed by one of the organization called Pegasystems, which is leader in business process management. Then the other tools include an NICE from Israel and Thoughtnomy as well. These are other tools which are not so popular, but yes, are in the market. Israel is a country, where it is having the head office. For example, Automation Anywhere is from they have their head office in US, Prism in UK, UiPath in UK, and NICE is from the Israel. OpenSpan is from US, like that. The other includes Infosys also has their own one of the platform called EdgeWork. There are other platforms like Cofex Kapao, Crayon Leo, Redwood Software from US, and Cofex Kapao from Lexmark, Softomotive from Greece, and Contexto from France, like that. These are the multiple tools, but the top leaders in the market are the three, I would say: Automation Anywhere, Prism, and UiPath. Out of the three, enterprises use any of these three according to the demand, but yes, one of the most demanding and the tool which has the largest market presence is Automation Anywhere. If we talk more detail about these tools and who uses them, Automation Anywhere, as I said, has biggest market presence and breadth of use cases. It was founded in 2003, and there are more than 950 enterprise customers in the first quarter of 2018. They had till then. It supports both front office robot and back office robot. The products of Automation Anywhere include IQBot. This is where you develop the bots which can also work on the top of artificial intelligence. So these are the robots which also use AI as well. Bot Insight to look at the analysis of how many bots are running, how many bots have failed, how many bots are working very well, how many bots have done what volume of task. Bot Farm, where you can also buy the bot. Bot Farm is wherein you can have multiple bots and pick them according to your requirement, your demand. Bot Store, where you can buy the bot, pre-developed bot and templates. You can buy them and use them. A couple of clients who use Automation Anywhere include Google, Tesco, Cisco, Siemens, VMware, MasterCard, Dell, Comcast, General Motors, ANZ Bank, AT&T, Whirlpool, LinkedIn, ING, Santander, and Maersk. There are a lot of clients who use Automation Anywhere. The next tool is Prism, one of the very popular RPA tool and one of the very oldest RPA tool. Despite it was one of the oldest RPA tool, it couldn't gain as much as popularity as much Automation Anywhere could gain, but still Prism is among The top three tools today, if you talk about the top three tools in the market, Blue Prism is one of them. One of the drawback of Blue Prism that it doesn't support front office robot. It only, they only focus on back office robot. The board security is very strong in UI Blue Prism. Deployment operations is quite easier. Found in London, and they have more than 500 plus enterprise customers till fourth quarter of 2017. There's only one product, which is Blue Prism version 6. The sort of clients who use Blue Prism include the BNY, Coca-Cola, and National Grid, Prudential, Snyder, and Shop Direct, NHS, Wells Fargo, UBS, UHG, EXL. The third, among top three, the third on the rank tool is UiPath, one of the fastest growing tool and very popular one. It's user friendly but not very developer friendly. Has good Citrix automation. That means it can integrate with the operating systems or tools running in virtual machines quite good. Supports both FOR and BOR, and founded in 2005, has 700 plus enterprise customers. Products include UiPath Studio, which is used to develop the boards, UiPath Robot, which is used to run the board, and Orchestrator, which is used to manage the boards. Clients include GE, HP, SAP, AXA, JP Morgan, BBC, Zurich, Vodafone, Volvo, and all. Then other tools include WorkFusion, built on Java, AI-driven development, but very complex to use. A couple of hundreds of customers they have, and clients include Axis Bank, Citi, Citigroup, and all. BNP Paribas, L&T. The other one is OpenSpan, developed Pegasus Systems, which is leader in the business process management, founded in 2004. But despite of being founded very older, it couldn't gain so much of popularity and couldn't get that much of market presence. These all tools are widely used for. So, these all tools are used for developing RPA solution, Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism, UiPath, WorkFusion, OpenSpan. These are all alternatives of each other, right? So it's like, let's say I can develop mobile applications using Java, or I can develop using other language as well. So as the way we have multiple programming languages as alternatives of each other, like C, C++, Java, and Python, like that. So the one of the easiest one and the most popular one is Automation Anywhere, right? So the similar way, these are multiple tools we have which are used for developing RPA solution, right? And we are looking at the discussion on those tools in a more of sequential manner. So OpenSpan supports FOR and has slight, BOR, and has slight support for FOR as well. So on what basis a company or an organization is going to select the tool that they want to use? There can be multiple criteria or scenario on the basis of which they would want to select the tool that you want to use. One of them could be, what is the development support they have, the features in the tool, and the functionalities available. The runtime performance, is it that the development of board is very easy with the tool, but deployment is very difficult or not? So what is the runtime performance? Average runtime performance is good or average or bad, like that. The product company, the company which has developed the product like Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism, the particular WorkFusion or UiPath, and the total cost of operation, TCO, which is more relevant to the pricing. So these all are a couple of checklists based on which any organization would want to select the tool that they want to use. Okay, so yeah, that's idea. Yeah, sure. I'll take a recall, right? So yeah, this is Blue Prism. We have discussed that. So we discussed about Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism, and UiPath, WorkFusion, OpenSpan, and we discussed about the checklist based on which an organization would want to select the tool. The selection criteria again is more described here. In terms of development, it could be based on features and functionalities available. What is the development and delivery speed one can have, the accuracy of the tool, and the reusability. The star shows the importance of every point. Similarly, when it comes to operation, how is the runtime performance, how is control, fitment, how much it fits your purpose, security available with that. These are multiple scenarios based on which a particular tool can be selected, whether it is good or not. So the vendor, the vision of vendor support and training provided from them, and the board store available. Pricing could be TCO, total cost of operation, value price, the license price. So this is all about the whole tools. Now we're going to talk more about Automation Anywhere, what exactly Automation Anywhere is, and what it is used for. So it's one of the most popular RPA tool and can be used to develop software boards, right? And it is also equipped with a lot of artificial intelligence based, you can say, plugins, which can be used to handle huge amount of unstructured data. This is a basic architecture of Automation Anywhere, where you see it sort of uses control room. So one of the component of it is the web control room, and you can use board creator to develop multiple boards, and those boards could be deployed on the board runners. Board 1, board 2, board 3, board 4 could be deployed, and they can be made to do execute a specific task. Control room is used to manage all the boards and sort of schedule them, deploy them, delete them, stop them, and in a whole, you can say, managing multiple software robots. That job is done by the control room of Automation Anywhere. And control room of Automation Anywhere is one of the most powerful control room provided by Automation Anywhere compared to any other vendor. The other components include board creator, which could be used to create boards, board runner, which can be used to execute the board, board insight, which could be used to analyze the board's performance, board store, which can be sort of used to buy one of the template of boards, which could be used in a specific application. Let's say that I'm using data. I want to automate a job which might require me to read an email, download the attachment. So I can buy a board from board store, which can do this job of reading email and downloading the attachment. Automation Anywhere supports 3 types of boards. You can create 3 types of boards with Automation Anywhere. Task boards are the boards which handle only structured data, right? So only structured data can be handled by task boards. Meta boards can handle structured and semi-structured data and are advanced version compared to task boards. IQ boards, the most advanced boards, which uses AI, artificial intelligence, and it enables it to handle unstructured data as well. Okay, so task boards are used heavily for front-end automation. Repetitive rule-based tasks which depends on structured data can be automated using task boards. Meta boards could be used for complex and scalable process semi-structured data. IQ boards could be used for AI-based plugins and integrations and handling or process unstructured data. These are multiple types of boards that you can create with Automation Anywhere. This is one of the basic architecture of Automation Anywhere, where there's a load balancer, board creator, board runner. Well, how does Automation Anywhere looks like? This is one of the software interface where you do board development in Automation Anywhere. So the things like loop and all, you don't have to write code in Automation Anywhere. It's more of drag and drop. As you can see that on the left, we have IQ board option. These are available. I just need to drag and drop them over here. Drag and drop, drag and drop, drag and drop. So development of board with Automation Anywhere is quite easier, and one of the easiest tool to develop boards much faster, much efficient is Automation Anywhere. So that's about the whole idea of RPA and Automation Anywhere. Okay, so with this part, we are done with the expected agenda, and now we're going to take sort of questions that we have, in this particular segment, which is where we can talk about the set of questions that you have, and yeah, we'll answer them up. So I'll take questions from top. There are a couple of questions which are unanswered from beginning, and yeah, if required, we'll go back to the discussion and come again front. So yeah, there's a question: if my scenario is to do automatic with multi-software running, that could be easily done with Automation Anywhere. A lot of examples of Automation Anywhere, how it could be used, you can learn in one of the training. So at Cognixia also we have training programs running up, wherein we train professionals on Automation Anywhere and train them on how to use Automation Anywhere for automating certain specific scenarios. So there's a question: is there any implementation in the field of biorobotics? Well, robotics process automation is not about creating hardware robots, it's about creating software robots. And wherever there's a clerical job, it can be easily used. BOM is, a particular abbreviation may have multiple full forms, Amit. Front for the end, how can RPA help with alert monitoring and performance monitoring? So that's a question from Aditya, and the answer is that let's say that for alert monitoring, I might have to use manually a lot of data and might have to look at the value of some sensors or maybe the logs generated from server. I can create bot and read data from a specific location. Maybe that could be a SQL database, Excel sheet, or text files. Read data from that, analyzing each and every line. And the moment there is a particular anomaly detected or a different value detected which is higher than a threshold, we can generate an alert using RPA bot. So RPA bot, we can make a bot which can keep on doing this task of analyzing multiple server logs and messages and alerting us with the particular message. Performance monitoring can also be done if there are multiple servers or applications running up. The performance analysis of application servers, the time that they took to reply to a request, give a response to a request, that could be analyzed, recorded, and the report could be generated with robotics process automation easily. Isn't RPA is secured from? Well, it's secured. I mean, the whether the bot is secured or not secured, that heavily depends on the functionality provided by the vendor company. Automation Anywhere has very strong focus on, even Blue Prism has very strong focus on security of bots, and both bots created with these two platforms are very heavily secured. There's a question, take a scenario where it needs to open Excel attachment from a particular email ID. Is that possible to automate for this? Yes, it is possible to automate that. Kindly share the slides. You can request that from the support team. So I hope I have answered your question, Mr. Mohammed, about what is nice, right? And there's a question, how can I fuse RPA and AI? So the answer would be that in a number of scenarios where the RPA bot needs to handle complex unstructured data, that's where artificial intelligence based plugins could be used, maybe the fuzzy logic rules, or optical character recognition, the object detection from images, things like that could be used by the bots to identify that. For example, let's say that if an RPA bot has to validate a particular document, PAN card or Aadhaar card, right? So the bot needs to be able to understand Aadhaar card, may be able to process the QR code. For those scenarios, we can attach AI-based plugins to it, and the bot can do the job. If it has to identify whether a particular Aadhaar card or PAN card submitted in a bank as a part of document is not, is photoshopped or not. So whether it is photoshopped or not, that could be identified using AI. Does this better than Arduino Raspberry Pi? Well, Arduino and Raspberry Pi are hardware, and here we're talking about software robots. Please share RP brochures, study material. Sure, you can request that from support team, and they'll help you out with that. How do I start with RPA? Well, at Cognixia, we have multiple courses which can help you out to get started with that, get certified from Automation Anywhere as well. So you can speak to support team for more details on this line. And if you land up here, you can find out that there are multiple courses which can help you out to get this out. So one of them is Mastering Bots with Automation Anywhere, and you can also do self-learning to get this task. But yeah, it's in a shorter time. If you want to learn the particular tool, getting trained on a particular tool and certified is more recommended. So there's a question, can we have this presentation? You can request to support team, they can help you out with that. Is RPA only for ERP solution, or can it be merged with IT software deployment, OS imaging process? Yes, heavily, Mr. Rafi. Robotics process automation, RPA, is heavily used for IT service management as well, handling a lot of data from internet, web scraping, data collection, and also sort of so it's heavily used for IT software management and automating the process in ITSM. Where can I put up questions? You can put questions in question box, same where you ask this question. As you said, no need to do programming, everything is drag and drop. I am a developer, .NET developer, have 8 years experience. Will it be valuable to learn RPA since non-technical can also do work? Yeah, but having a technical experience can be added advantage for you, right? So you can, develop, you can be more aligned with developing high-end solutions, right? So with .NET, you can even write macro codes, which can be a lot of advantages for you, right? So RPA is recommended in case you want to get, let's say, in case of more about how this can help you out to your professional growth based on your current professional, eligibility. You can connect to the experts at Cognixia. They can help you out to understand that, whether RPA is a good choice for you or not, given your current number of years of experience and the role in which you are. Gaurav, at this point, it won't be possible for me to bring in a practical example, but yeah, I would definitely show in case of couple of other webinars. We keep on organizing that further. And in trainings, again, it goes completely hands-on. The difference between Automation Anywhere control and UI path orchestrator. Raj is used for bot management. I would say, I have worked on both the tools. I am a certified developer on both the tools. I would say that Automation Anywhere Control Room is, more powerful and gives us more liberty compared to the orchestration tool of UiPath. But both are, again, if you talk about the type of application, both are used for board management, board scheduling, and analyzing board status, creating reports with that. Both are dashboard-based tools. There's a question: is RPA only for ERP solutions? We already discussed that question. What is the fee and course duration that you can connect and get more details on that from support team? Can you please elaborate on FOB and BOR with an example? Yeah, front office robot and back office robot. Let us say that in a particular application, there is no need for human intervention. Maybe the application could be the moment customer is feeding the application for account opening and it is approved from human. Now that data of customer has to be fed into the local bank server, into the global server, and has to be fed to the web application where customer can also log in via internet, internet user ID and password, mobile application, and SMS registration. Now you see, when it comes to opening a bank account in a bank, there are multiple portals. There is a separate portal for web application where a customer can do net banking. There's a separate portal where a customer can do mobile banking. There's a separate portal where a customer can make a call and that mobile number will be automatically recognized. SMS could be delivered. These are multiple ERP solutions. Now, once a customer's data is approved that, well, now we can open account for this customer. Feeding the data of customer into multiple of these options is a manual job. And that's where, this can be completely automated via back office robot, because this doesn't require any of the front end interaction. So this could be an example where you can automate this monotonous job via developing a BOR, back office robot, because this is more of a rule-based system. Once you identify that, well, customers' data is approved, feed into 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 ERP solutions, or update that into databases. The example of front office robot could be, this was an example of back office robot, front office bot or front office robot, FOB or FOR. It could be, let's say that, if it is about particularly customer's request to switch off the credit card, or maybe unblock the credit card. So when it comes to unblocking the credit card, whether the unblocking has to be done or not, that cannot be automated with 5 or 10 or 20 rules. In number of scenarios, the scenarios where the credit card has to be unblocked, or a particular, let's say, if there is a charge for overdrafting. Now customer is being charged for overdrafting, customer is making a request. If you have to automate that process, a number of scenarios that we have to register the request in ERP and stuff like that. So out of the whole process where we have to approve the customer request or not, you can say 80% part of that process could be automated, but still at 20% part, bank employee has to take a call, has to take a decision. That's where you can create a back office robot. In such scenarios, the bot can simply process the data. In some cases, it can ask the human executive, should I click OK or should I approve it or not? A human executive will have to just click OK. So you can say the bot is doing majority of tasks. Only in some cases it is taking approval from human executive. So that's where you will still require a human executive to to be sitting with the bot. So that's front office bot. Okay. So I hope that gives you example, Ankita, about FOR and BOR. There's a question: can you again tell the full form of RPA, robotics process automation? How is the job market for this tool? Well, it's pretty popular. You can also Google it, and in fact, there is a huge demand of RPA professionals and certified RPA professionals as well in the market because of increasing demand of RPA solutions. How easy it is to automate .NET application using RPA? In fact, as easy as it is to automate Microsoft Excel or PowerPoint or maybe email, that it is for any application. So the best part of RPA is that it doesn't make any specific thing more difficult and something else more easier, because everything is UI based automation, so everything is quite easier. How much % of process time savings versus RPA efforts cost could be there? Well, that's a good question. So in the question is that, well, if I implement RPA solution, I pay license fee and all, so how much money I can save or benefit I can make compared to the losses I'm making when I'm keeping the human executives to do the job. So well, that heavily depends on, the answer is that heavily depends on the volume of job that you want to automate. If there is a 1 or 2 human executive who are doing the job and you want to automate that using RPA bot, that may not end up having recovering the whole losses with the implementation cost. But if there is a 100 or 200 or 300 thousands of requests you receive every day, and that's where there are tens of human executives who are doing the job, that's where if you use a bot to do the stuff, you can save more money out of it. So the tool mentioned in this, in this particular webinar is Automation Anywhere. Can RPA be used for MIS tools? Yes, it can be. Any specific programming skills could be required. Not just if you know more about while loop, for loop, that's much better. And that you don't need any specific programming skill. Yeah, Mr. Rafi, I have already answered your question. Let me know if any of the questions are unanswered. There's a question that how bot is made its operation. Well, the way we humans do operations in by going to start menu, opening a particular window, closing that window, and maybe opening, clicking on new button and feeding data into it. The same way bots do the operations. This is a question. I am currently into automation testing, both API and UI automation. Is it possible to move to RPA by taking any kind of these of tools? Yeah, if you can learn any of these tools, get certified with that, you can easily move to the RPA domain as well. Could you please explain the process of training for a business analyst position? Well, more details about that, you can get in touch with the support team at Cognixia. There's a question, can RPA replace manual testing of software? Yes, it can. How can RPA be integrated with low code concept? Well, it's more of pre-coded stuff. So the reason it is licensed because there's a big team who works behind the wall to develop these tools and make them more efficient. And that's where, as a developer, when I use these tools, I don't need to do coding because that's where many of the coding is done back, and I don't just need to understand the business domain, drag and drop, and create the business logic out of it. There's a question, is this software capable to simulate mechanical involvement of a robot? No, it is not. It is mainly for software robot. How RPA used in AI area? AI is used in robotics process automation. So robotics process automation, as I said, is a way industry leverages artificial intelligence, the power of artificial intelligence. How is it different from other automation tools? Selenium is for backend and testing automation. RPA is for front end and the application automation. Does it works with SAP? Yes, it very well works and integrates with SAP. Where you want to extend UI path utilities, you have to utilize the knowledge of C#.NET, which language I have to know for extending automation in your utilities. Yes, in that case, you will have to know .NET. I would love to start my career in RPA. Is it possible? Yeah, you can connect to support team. They can help you more about that. So yeah, RPA is one of the things that, if you talk about the, if you're talking to any of the technology, RPA is one of the field where you can it's most easier to shift to RPA. And the easiest way to shift to any of the technological line is the robotics process automation. So what is the software name? Automation Anywhere. In all of these RPA tools, what openware and long-term release support like Java? Well, all of these are not open source, but yeah, in many of these tools, as there is a organization working in the backend providing licenses, they are working it to keep on providing continuous support and development. There's a question, how is the job opportunity in RPA for a person having 10 years experience in IT field? Well, there is a huge demand. For more detail about that, whether it's right choice for you or it would be right decision for you to shift to RPA or not, you can connect to the career experts at Cognixia. They can help you out with that. So will it require programming knowledge? Minimum, I would say. Difference between normal automation and RPA. Normal automation may require you to integrate with the backend tool of the software, but yeah, RPA doesn't require you to do that. With RPA, you don't have to integrate to programming a lot, and you can easily do development without that. Is it possible? There's a question, is it possible to use RPA in small businesses? If it's feasible, yeah, if it's feasible, it is possible to use, but the volume of cost reduction that you do, that heavily depends on the mass of automation that you implement, or you can say, the mass of manual, the volume of manual operations that you're doing, you're automating that with RPA. So it's like if there are 1 or 2 employees, as I said, and you automate that with RPA, it might not end up you meet the cost of cost of implementation being lesser than the losses that you're making earlier. So that feasibility, financial feasibility, heavily depends on the volume of automation that you're doing out. Can I read mail? And if mail have particular set of keyword, that particular mail should be categorized in different category. Yes, that can be easily done with RPA. Is there any application in data analytics sort of tools like R or Python? Well, Python is widely used to integrate with these tools, but again, as I said, RPA doesn't have application in this. Rather, these data analytics tool have application in RPA. Difference between RPA and machine learning? Well, machine learning is part of AI and RPA is not part of AI. RPA is more about automating the manual and rule-based operations. Is the control room mentioned in Automation Anywhere a cloud-based central control operated by a vendor, or is it controlled by the customer itself? It cannot be controlled by the end customer. Rather, it can be, let's say, if I'm a bank, so I can control the control room. right? So it's not necessarily be the cloud-based control room where Automation Anywhere, if it is provided by Automation Anywhere is going to control. Not like that. They provide the version of control room which I can get it installed on my infrastructure, and using that control room, I can manage the boards deployed and the licenses of those boards as well. Can boards be run on individuals' laptops? Yes, it can be done. How long it takes for a non-programming person to become a pro and on these top automation programming list? Well, at least you have to start from one tool, and it takes around a month to get good at one tool if you spend around 2 or 3 hours a day, or maybe around 6 hours a week. How can you say AA is better than Blue Prism? As we discussed, Blue Prism doesn't support front office support, and the easier, the development interface of Automation Anywhere is quite better than Blue Prism, easier than Blue Prism. There is a question in all of these RPA tools, what the openware and long-term release support? I have already answered that question. Right, so there are some repetitive questions which I'm skipping up. There's a question, can we automate the examination correction for college? Well, that would require you to have IQ-based board, but it is doable. How accurate is RPA? In many of the cases where it is rule-based system, it's very accurate. In some cases where it is unstructured data, it is difficult to achieve 100% of accuracy. Is RPA useful in small manufacturing industries? Well, it depends on the mass of, or the volume of automation that you want to implement. So it could be used as well. How tough it is to learn RPA? What is the time frame you think is sufficient to get versed with a particular tool? I would say, you can get versed with a particular tool. As I said, a month round, you can spend 6 hours a week, 7 hours a week, and you can get good with a particular tool. What level of technical expertise required to get started in RPA? I'm a functional consultant. Well, as I said, that RPA is a field where you need minimum of technical knowledge, and compared to all other emerging technologies and the fields to which people are shifting out, RPA is one of the easiest fields where you can shift out. That's where you need very less of it. A little bit of knowledge about what is for loop, what is while loop, what is if else would be a lot helpful. Are there any free and online trainings that we can take to get a basic understanding of RPA? As it is a licensed tool, it is very difficult to find that out, but still there is a lot of resource available on website of Automation Anywhere. If you're a good self-learner, it could be helpful for you. There's a question, can we use this RPA technology to prevent phishing attacks, ransomware attacks, and computers? You see, RPA can be used to automate the job, but in order to prevent that, you will have to write the algorithms. RPA can only be used to implement those algorithms and check, for multiple, let's say, multiple transactions and all. Can we use a Automation Anywhere for testing purpose like Selenium? Well, that's a very different application. Selenium is good for testing. Do we have training program where you can provide live scenarios to be automated as practicals? I'm a certified Automation Anywhere developer and want to hone my skills with practical scenarios. Yeah, so in our training programs that we provide, we make it completely hands-on. So as it is a tool-based, you can say almost 90 to 95% of the segment is hands-on training. Is it possible for accounting solution? It's widely used in accounting solution. Which technology in RPA is good to start for an RPA beginner? Is it good to start with Automation Anywhere or with Blue Prism or UiPath? I would say it's very good to start with Automation Anywhere and then UiPath, and at last you should choose Blue Prism. I am a commerce graduate and don't know ABC of any programming language. Is it possible to learn Automation Anywhere? What are the job prospects? Well, job prospects, more you can get help from Cognixia team, but yeah, it is possible for you to learn if you have sort of determination to learn the technology. In an automation tester, so how helpful it can be, automation tester, how helpful it can be to learn RPA, as I am planning to switch my profile, and how much time I can learn. Well, you need to dedicate some good amount of time to learn this because you are into a completely different domain, and yeah, it will be helpful for you. And as I said, easier to shift. One of the easier way to shift is RPA. How data security handle in UiPath? Well, that completely I can explain if it is in UiPath training. BOAT is not a full form, it's a short form stuff. Maybe there is a question, maybe put a decision maker script to basic RPA schedule. Yeah, I mean, that could be done. There's a question, what security provisions are available in UiPath? Well, Nilesh, that could be answered in UiPath training. There's a question, if you want to learn RPA, then which language you have to learn? Well, it's not necessary to have any language understanding, but yeah, if you have an idea of .NET, it's very helpful. For a website related work, should we consider softwares you recommend in the slide, or Selenium should be good enough? Yeah, it should be good enough. How do this play a vital role in automation? Well, these are used to automate huge amount of clerical tasks. That's where these are widely used in robotics process automation. What sort of parts we should start learning to get into RPA? You should start learning the business cases and at least one of the tool which is widely used for RPA. What about the vulnerability and security of our RPA bot? That heavily depends on the service provider. And as I said, Automation Anywhere and Blue Prism are one of the very secure bot service provider. You can say product providers. Does IoT knowledge is required? No, not necessarily. You don't need that. Does RPA supports Python? Well, it depends on tools. Some tools support, some of the tools do not. All right. Is UiPath also a licensed version? Yeah, there is a free version available for that, but yeah, it's mostly a licensed version. Is it possible to merge RPA to IT? Yeah, it's widely done. Can I do data mining and data scraping from web using our Automation Anywhere? You can easily do that. Uh, Again, as I said, like, shifting is easier with RPA. I mean, yeah. Can it be used for automation testing? Well, there are good tools available to do that. What are the pros and cons of RPA? Pros are that it, automates the lot of tasks, makes it errorless, less human intervention, less human uses for repetitive tasks. The cons could be that it cannot be used in all the cases. Scenarios like sales and marketing should not be automated using RPA and cannot be automated using RPA. Yeah, so that's the idea. Is RPA OS specific? No. I mean, it's widely popular for Windows operating system, but yeah, you can, most of the tasks are automated on the Windows operating system. But yeah, it could be, depends on the tool. Can I get recording? Well, that you can ask for the team. And well, in this case, it won't be possible for me to showcase that. That could be done, Ajay. Such tasks could be automated. Cognitia is a part of ecosystem where we provide training and services. Do we need to have hands-on on .NET or Java? Not necessarily. To work on RPA tools. Do we have to have hands-on on Java? Not necessarily, as I said. So yeah, that's the idea. Well, more about career-related tasks and questions where you want to have some career suggestions. You can connect to support team. They can help you out with one-on-one understanding discussion. Right. So yeah, that's the idea. There's a question, what are the future advantages of being an RPA developer? The best part is that, well, this is one of the technology which is quite emerging and there's a huge demand in the market. So I think, this can help you out to get a good set of market valuation, and also the career growth would be a lot heavy with RPA. Is RPA helpful for help desk related team questions from, yeah, it could be helpful and used to automate that stuff. How can IT analyst experience will be efficient to RPA? Well, it depends on the roles that you have played and the, the tools that you interacted with. And that can help you out to identify good opportunities where RPA can be implemented. What are the licensing prices for Automation Anywhere? Do they offer free training, something similar to get to know the platform? Yeah, you can get 1 month free access for Automation Anywhere. Development background is not necessarily needed. Can you use Automation Anywhere with third-party website? If yes, how can it be? Yeah, it can be used. If the UI keeps on changing, they have some ways to handle those scenarios. Is RPA helpful for help desk technical team? Yes, as I said. And what would be the ideal Automation Anywhere technical team to automate basic invoicing procurement? Well, you need to have at least a team of around 10 people, you can say, who can work on different lines and develop the bot and do assessment, analyzing as well. So, well, automobile industry, I'm not sure. It depends on the clerical task. If you have any, it could be used. Can I get, when your PPT, you can connect to team. Okay. Yeah, back office robot is also called as unattended robot, and front office robot is also called as attended robot. You are right with that, Ajay. No, SQL jobs are not as RPA. I would say, I mean, my preference would be Automation Anywhere compared to Blue Prism or UiPath. This is a question in India, many RPA may lead to drastic unemployment. Well, that won't be there. In fact, humans are going to do a lot of better jobs. Yeah, but again, it would, capture some of the rule-based and regular repetitive tasks. Prakash, I would suggest you to connect to support team regarding that. And Mohammad Rafi, I have answered your question. How can I manage audit log, application log, exception handling using RPA? So RPA, multiple tools have options to read data from such sources where you can read server logs or maybe server logs recorded in the databases, and you can write some automation structure for those server logs. Maybe to read them, analyze them, and approve them or validate them. A bot is, you can say a simple robot is a bot. What is a typical way of deploying RPA bot on client side? Well, there are bot licenses to deploy bots on client side, and it's if it is back office robot, it can be easily deployed in the form of virtual machine. So yeah, it has good integration with SAP and software robot, because it does automates the software task. Okay, so yeah. For duration recording of the, for duration recording and more details about the course, you can visit our website Cognixia.com and you can get more details about that. Can RPA automate anything Windows web console application? What are the limitations where RPA fail? Where RPA It's not that good as good it is on structured data. It is not that good on unstructured data, and it fails in scenarios you want to automate the job of a marketing and sales team. And can 11 years of another technology guy can come into RPA? Yeah, it depends on the experience that you have and whether you want to shift to RPA or not. That sort of help you can get a lot from the support team. So what are the advantages of AA? Like AA is more developer friendly compared to UiPath. Which software is easy to start? Automation Anywhere, I would say, is easy to start. And well, NIC is not as good as these three tools, I would say. Right. Can RPA be used for desktop automation, desktop application automation? Yes, it can be used for that. And can I use it in Maze Solar Robot? No, it's not for harder robots. And you can get some support, Mr. Patil, but not guarantee on that. How is tool helpful for business analyst professional? Well, it's just you can shift to RPA role if you are into any other role. Right, so that's the idea. And do we need any kind of certification for working on RPA? Not necessarily, but yeah, if you have certification from the tool service provider, let's say Automation Anywhere or from UiPath, it's good, and you can get more, valuation in the market compared to the uncertified one. Is there any free version of Automation Anywhere? Yes, you can download the community version for 1 month free access from Automation Anywhere website. Can training be delivered online? Yes, we deliver trainings online. And for participants who wish to train and far away from location, yes, we do deliver online trainings only. And for more details, you can connect to our support team. They can help you out with on this. Can I get more of invoice processing automation anywhere? Well, yeah, you can get that up. I guess we can cover that in some of the trainings. Can RPA be used to initiate voice calls, understand customers' language to trigger appropriate? RPA can be used to trigger some programs, which can be, again, ultimately used to do this job. All right, and for training part, again, you get 1 month free license. Okay, so yep, that's the idea so far. Can you briefly explain Selenium? Well, no, I cannot go on that point. It's simply a tool to automate the testing process. And can RPA about used for the ease of e-commerce website? If yes, in what way? Well, it depends what way you want to make the ease, right? For example, if you want to capture data from Amazon or maybe the Flipkart, you can use RPA boards. How can CI/CD be implemented in RPA? Depends on the use case. Can I get demo of invoice processing? Not in this case, but yeah, in trainings we do that. Can Automation Anywhere work with SQL? Yes, it can work with SQL. Do we have any tools for to code review in RPA? No, they don't expose the codes as it is a license tool. Can RPA replace automation testing tools like Selenium in future? Well, these are completely different line of applications. Okay, so yep, that's the idea. What will be, yep, right, so that's the whole idea about all the questions. So I answered most of the questions. I hope that would be helpful for you. So with this part, we'll be ending up here. Thank you all for joining this session, and I hope you would have enjoyed the RPA webinar. And for more details, you can connect to our support team. You can also get more details about the courses provided on robotics process automation on this particular link available on the website. And yeah, thank you all for joining. And yeah, stay in touch. We keep on organizing more webinars on different topics. So yeah, you can get attached to other webinars as well. So thank you all and have a very good day.